Imagine, if you will, standing at the precipice of a landscape so utterly breathtaking, it seems to have been sculpted by the gods themselves. The colors are impossibly vibrant, the scale magnificent, the silence profound. You feel a sense of awe, a deep connection to the raw power of our planet. But then, a subtle shift in the air, a whisper of unseen danger, makes you realize this paradise is, in fact, one of the most dangerous places on Earth. The very elements that create this stunning beauty are also the architects of its peril. The ground beneath your feet might be a cauldron of toxic chemicals, the serene air a cloak for lethal gases, or the gentle breeze a precursor to a storm of unimaginable fury. This is the dichotomy of our world, a planet where sublime beauty and mortal danger are often two sides of the same coin. These are not places for the faint-hearted. They are crucibles that test the limits of life itself. They are the Earth's untamed frontiers, where nature's power is on full unapologetic display. From scorching deserts where the air itself can kill, to icy peaks that steal the very breath from your lungs, these locations challenge our perception of what it means to survive. They are a stark and often brutal reminder of our own fragility in the face of nature's immense and indifferent power. So, I invite you on a journey to the very edge of existence. We will explore these formidable landscapes, not just to witness their spectacular beauty, but to understand the profound dangers they hold. We will stand, virtually, where few would dare to tread and ask ourselves a fundamental question. Faced with such overwhelming risk and such astonishing beauty, would you dare to visit? Join me as we venture into the heart of Earth's most dangerous places. Our journey begins in the Horn of Africa, in a place that has been called the cruelest place on Earth. This is the Danakil Desert in Ethiopia, a vast depression that plunges to over 100 meters below sea level. At first glance, it is a spectacle of hallucinatory color. Sulfurous hot springs paint the ground in vivid yellows, oranges, and greens, creating a landscape that feels more extraterrestrial than terrestrial. It's a geological wonderland, a place where the Earth's crust is being torn apart, revealing the fiery processes that shape our world. But this alien beauty conceals a deadly truth. The air here is thick with the pungent smell of sulfur, a cocktail of chlorine and other toxic gases that can sear the lungs. The ground is a treacherous mosaic of salt flats, acidic pools, and fragile crusts that can give way without warning, plunging an unwary traveler into boiling, corrosive water. This is a land forged by fire, a junction of three tectonic plates constantly pulling away from each other. This relentless geological activity fuels a landscape of active volcanoes and geysers, making the very ground beneath one's feet unstable and unpredictable. Survival here is a relentless battle against the elements. Temperatures regularly soar above 50 degrees Celsius, making the Danakil one of the hottest inhabited places on the planet. For the Afar people, who have called this unforgiving region home for centuries, life is a testament to human endurance. They make a living by hacking salt from the desert floor, a grueling task performed under the searing sun. Their knowledge of this land is ancient and profound, allowing them to navigate its dangers and extract a livelihood from its harsh embrace. The water, what little of it exists, is often either hypersaline or dangerously acidic. The bright, inviting colors of the geothermal pools are a warning sign. They are cauldrons of acid, hot enough to cause severe burns and toxic enough to be fatal. These pools are home to extremophils, microorganisms that have adapted to survive in conditions that would be lethal to almost any other form of life. They are a clue to how life might exist on other, seemingly inhospitable planets. To visit the Danakil is to witness the raw, creative, and destructive power of our planet in its most extreme form. It is a landscape that is constantly being remade, a violent and volatile canvas of geological forces. The vibrant colors are not a sign of life in the way we usually understand it, but rather the chemical signature of a world in flux, a place where the building blocks of our planet are laid bare for all to see. Every step in this kaleidoscopic wasteland is a gamble. The ground can be as thin as a sheet of ice, the air a poison, and the heat an oppressive, life-draining force. It is a place that challenges every notion of hospitality, a stark reminder that some of the most visually stunning places on our planet are also the most hostile to human life. It is the Earth's own inferno, a beautiful but deadly masterpiece. We travel south, to the desolate shores of Namibia. Here, the vast, ancient Namib Desert crashes into the cold, turbulent waters of the Atlantic Ocean. This is the Skeleton Coast, a name that evokes images of death and despair, and for good reason. For centuries, this coastline has been a treacherous trap for mariners, a place where the hopes of sailors have been dashed against a merciless shore. The coastline is littered with the ghostly remains of wrecked ships, their rusted hulls half buried in the sand, monuments to the ocean's unforgiving power. The primary architect of this danger is the cold Bengala Current, which flows north from the Antarctic. When its frigid waters meet the hot, dry air of the Namib Desert, a dense, persistent fog is born. This fog can blanket the coast for most of the year, reducing visibility to almost zero. For sailors navigating by sight, it was a death sentence. They would be sailing in what they believed to be open water, only to be driven onto the shore by fierce waves and unpredictable currents, their ships torn apart on hidden shoals. Once shipwrecked, survival was a near impossibility. The coast is a misnomer. It is merely the beginning of one of the driest deserts in the world. Behind the beach lie hundreds of kilometers of rolling sand dunes, an ocean of sand with no fresh water, no food, and no shelter. The skeletons that give the coast its name are not just those of whales and seals that wash ashore, but also of the countless sailors who survived a wreck only to perish from thirst and exposure in the endless dunes. Yet, in this seemingly barren landscape, life persists in the most extraordinary ways. The fog that is so deadly to humans is the lifeblood of the desert. Specialized insects, like the darkling beetle, have evolved to climb to the crests of dunes and perform a headstand, allowing moisture from the fog to condense on their bodies and trickle down to their mouths. This precious water supports a surprising food chain, including lizards, chameleons, and even larger predators like the brown hyena. These hyenas, often called strandlopers or beach wolves, are a unique population adapted to this coastal environment. They patrol the shoreline, scavenging for the carcasses of marine animals washed ashore, from seals to whales. They are the ultimate survivors, carving out an existence in a place defined by death. Their ghostly figures loping through the fog and past skeletal shipwrecks add to the haunting, otherworldly atmosphere of the Skeleton Coast. To stand on this shore is to feel a profound sense of isolation and humility. The roar of the surf is constant, a powerful reminder of the ocean's might. The wrecks serve as solemn warnings, their decaying forms a testament to the fatal combination of fog, current, and desert. The Skeleton Coast is a place where two powerful and opposing forces of nature meet, creating a landscape that is both starkly beautiful and profoundly dangerous, a true graveyard of the Atlantic. Our next destination may seem at first less exotic, but it is no less deadly. We travel to the northeastern United States, to the presidential range of the White Mountains in New Hampshire. Here stands Mount Washington. At just under 1,917 meters, its height is modest compared to the world's great peaks. However, this mountain holds a fearsome reputation, encapsulated by the motto of its weather observatory: home of the world's worst weather. It is a place where the conditions can turn from pleasant to life-threatening in a matter of minutes. The mountain's danger lies in its unique geographical position. It stands at the convergence of several major storm tracks, primarily from the Atlantic to the south, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Pacific Northwest. This confluence of weather systems, combined with the mountain's significant prominence over the surrounding landscape, funnels and amplifies the wind to extraordinary speeds. For over 60 years, Mount Washington held the record for the highest wind speed ever recorded on the Earth's surface, a staggering 372 kilometers per hour, or 231 miles per hour. This extreme wind is a constant threat. It can physically knock a hiker off their feet and send them tumbling down rocky slopes. But the wind's greatest danger is the wind chill it produces. Even on a summer day, temperatures at the summit can plummet below freezing. When combined with hurricane-force winds, the effective temperature can drop to levels that cause frostbite in minutes and life-threatening hypothermia not long after. The weather is notoriously fickle. A sunny, calm day at the base can be a raging blizzard at the summit. The landscape itself is deceptively beautiful. Above the tree line, the mountain becomes an alpine zone of rock piles and fragile tundra-like vegetation. In good weather, the views are panoramic, stretching across several states. But this beauty masks a treacherous environment. The trails are steep and covered in loose rock, and the weather can change so rapidly that dense fog can envelop hikers, causing them to become disoriented and lost just meters from the path. Over 150 people have lost their lives on its slopes. Many of them experienced hikers who underestimated the mountain's volatile nature. The scientists at the Mount Washington Observatory live and work in this extreme environment year-round, chained to the summit building to prevent it from being blown away. They endure conditions that are more akin to the polar regions than New England. Their work involves manually de-icing instruments in hurricane-force winds and mind-numbing cold, providing vital weather data and research into extreme atmospheric conditions. Their presence is a testament to the mountain's unique and ferocious character. Mount Washington serves as a powerful lesson in respecting nature. Its relatively small stature belies its immense power. It is not the altitude that makes a mountain dangerous, but the weather it creates. Here, the air itself becomes the primary adversary, an invisible, powerful, and utterly relentless force that can turn a beautiful day hike into a desperate fight for survival. It is a place that demands humility and preparation in equal measure. We now journey to the island of Sumatra in Indonesia, a land that sits upon the Pacific Ring of Fire, the most seismically active region on our planet. Here, volcanoes are not ancient relics. They are living, breathing, and often violent neighbors. Our focus is Mount Sinabung, a stratovolcano that, after 4 centuries of dormancy, roared back to life in 2010. Since then, it has been in a near-constant state of eruption, a furious giant that relentlessly terrorizes the surrounding landscape. Unlike volcanoes that have predictable cyclical eruptions, Sinabung is dangerously erratic. It can be quiet for days or weeks, only to explode without warning, sending colossal columns of ash, gas, and rock kilometers into the atmosphere. This ash, composed of tiny, sharp particles of rock and glass, can travel for vast distances, blanketing entire villages, collapsing roofs under its weight, and posing a severe respiratory hazard to anyone who breathes it in. The sky can turn to night in the middle of the day as an ash cloud blots out the sun. But the most immediate and deadly threat from Sinabung is the pyroclastic flow. These are not slow-moving lava flows, but superheated, fast-moving avalanches of gas, ash, and rock fragments that can reach temperatures of up to 1,000 degrees Celsius and travel down the volcano's slopes at speeds exceeding hundreds of kilometers per hour. They are indefensible and utterly destructive, incinerating everything in their path. Entire villages that once sat on the fertile slopes have been erased from the map, buried under meters of hot volcanic debris. Life in the shadow of Sinabung is a life of constant uncertainty. Tens of thousands of people have been displaced, forced to abandon their homes and farms in the designated red zones. They live in temporary shelters, waiting for the giant to quiet down, a day that may not come for years, or even decades. The fertile volcanic soil that once provided them with a rich livelihood has become a source of death and destruction. Yet, many risk their lives by returning to their fields to tend to their crops, their economic survival pitted against the volcano's unpredictable fury. The landscape around Sinabung is a surreal mix of lush, tropical greenery and grey, desolate wasteland. Where the pyroclastic flows have reached, the world is monochrome. Trees are stripped bare and carbonized, rivers are choked with volcanic mud, and houses are ghostly shells filled with ash. It is a stark and powerful visual representation of the volcano's destructive power, a Pompeii in the making. Rescuers and scientists who work in this area face constant danger, monitoring the volcano's every tremor, hoping to provide a few precious minutes of warning before the next eruption. Mount Sinabung is a humbling reminder that the ground beneath our feet is not as solid as it seems. It is a window into the immense, powerful forces at work deep within the earth. For the people of this region, the volcano is both a creator and a destroyer, the source of the rich soil and the agent of their potential doom. It is a living, breathing mountain that demands respect and commands fear, a volatile giant in a state of perpetual rage. From the volcanic fury of Indonesia, we travel to a place of intense, quiet heat in the Mojave Desert of California, USA. This is Death Valley, a name earned through the suffering of early pioneers and a fitting description of its extreme environment. It is a place of geological superlatives, the lowest, driest, and hottest area in North America. The valley floor at Badwater Basin sits at 86 meters below sea level, a vast expanse of surreal salt flats that shimmer under a relentless sun. Death Valley's primary danger is its staggering heat. The valley's geography, long, deep, and narrow, with high, steep mountain ranges on either side, creates a natural furnace. Sunlight heats the desert surface, and the resulting hot air rises. But it is trapped by the mountains, cooled, and then sinks back to the valley floor, only to be heated even more. This cycle creates punishingly high temperatures. In 1913, a temperature of 56.7 degrees Celsius, or 134 degrees Fahrenheit, was recorded here, the highest ambient air temperature ever reliably measured on the surface of the Earth. In such extreme heat, the human body is under immense strain. Dehydration can occur with frightening speed, as the body can lose several liters of water an hour through sweat. The air is so dry that sweat evaporates almost instantly, tricking people into thinking they are not losing as much fluid as they are. Heat stroke and heat exhaustion are constant threats, and without an adequate supply of water, gallons, not liters, a person can perish in a matter of hours. The landscape is littered with warnings, urging visitors not to venture far from their vehicles in the summer months. Despite its name, Death Valley is not devoid of life. It is a place of remarkable adaptation. During the day, most animals seek refuge underground in burrows or in the shade of rocks. The desert floor may seem lifeless, but it is home to creatures like the kangaroo rat, which has evolved to survive without ever drinking water, obtaining all the moisture it needs from the seeds it eats. At night, as the temperature drops, the desert comes alive. Coyotes, bobcats, and kit foxes emerge to hunt under the light of the stars. The landscape itself presents its own dangers. Flash floods are a surprising but serious threat. Though the valley receives less than 2 inches of rain a year, a distant thunderstorm in the surrounding mountains can send a wall of water, mud, and rock rushing down the narrow canyons with incredible force and speed. The dry, baked ground cannot absorb the water, turning dry riverbeds or washes into raging torrents in an instant. Roads can be washed out, and anyone caught in a canyon can be swept away. Death Valley is a land of stark, brutal beauty. The undulating sand dunes of Mesquite Flat, the kaleidoscopic colors of artist's palette, and the jagged salt crystals of the Devil's Golf Course create a visual feast. But it is a beauty that must be appreciated with extreme caution. It is a place that strips away all pretense, a landscape that reduces survival to its most basic elements: water, shade, and a profound respect for the overwhelming power of the sun. It is a silent, baking, and unforgiving furnace. We now ascend to the highest point on our planet, a place that has captured the human imagination like no other. This is Mount Everest, known as Sagarmatha in Nepal and Chomolungma in Tibet, soaring 8,848 meters into the upper reaches of the atmosphere. It is the ultimate mountaineering prize, a symbol of human endurance and ambition. But this majestic peak is also one of the most dangerous places a human can attempt to go. A vertical world where the price of a mistake is often death. The primary challenge of Everest is the extreme altitude. At the summit, the air contains only about a third of the oxygen available at sea level. This thin atmosphere is insufficient to sustain human life for long. Climbers refer to the region above 8,000 meters as the death zone. Here, the body is literally dying. Without supplemental oxygen, a climber's physical and mental capabilities deteriorate rapidly. Judgment becomes impaired, coordination fails, and the risk of frostbite and hypothermia skyrockets. The cold is relentless and profound. Temperatures in the death zone can plummet to -60 degrees Celsius. When combined with the hurricane-force winds of the jet stream, which often buffet the upper slopes, the wind chill can be unimaginable. Exposed skin will freeze in seconds. The cold makes every task, from zipping up a jacket to opening a water bottle, a monumental effort. It saps energy and willpower, turning the final push to the summit into a desperate race against the clock and the body's own decline. The mountain itself is a treacherous obstacle course. The Khumbu Icefall, a moving glacier of shattered ice near base camp, is one of the most dangerous sections. Climbers must navigate a maze of deep crevasses and towering, unstable ice seracs that can collapse without warning. Higher up, steep ice walls, like the Lhotse face, and technical rock sections, like the Hillary Step, demand immense skill and concentration, all performed in a state of severe oxygen deprivation. Beyond the natural dangers, there is the human element. In recent years, the popularity of Everest has led to overcrowding. On good weather days, long queues can form at critical bottlenecks, forcing climbers to stand still for hours in the death zone. This waiting depletes precious oxygen supplies, increases exposure to the extreme cold, and can turn a manageable situation into a fatal one. The mountain has become a commercial enterprise, and some argue that this has allowed underprepared clients to attempt a peak that is far beyond their capabilities. The slopes of Everest are a high-altitude graveyard. The bodies of climbers who have perished are often left where they fell, as the risk and difficulty of bringing them down are too great. These frozen figures, some of whom have become grim landmarks, serve as a stark and constant reminder of the mountain's lethal nature. They are a testament to the fine line between ambition and tragedy on the roof of the world. Everest is more than a mountain. It is a test of the absolute limits of human physiology and spirit. For our final destination, we venture to a place so dangerous that the Brazilian government has forbidden anyone from landing there. It is a small island, just 43 hectares, located about 33 kilometers off the coast of São Paulo state. Its official name is Ilha da Queimada Grande, but it is known to the world by a more terrifying moniker, Snake Island. This isolated outpost is home to one of the highest concentrations of venomous snakes anywhere on the planet. The island's sole serpentine inhabitant is the golden lancehead pit viper, Bothrops insularis. This species is found nowhere else on Earth. It became trapped on the island thousands of years ago, when rising sea levels cut it off from the mainland. With no ground-level predators and a limited food source, the snakes adapted in a remarkable and terrifying way. Their primary prey is the migratory birds that use the island as a resting stop. To ensure their meal doesn't fly away after being bitten, the golden lancehead evolved a venom that is incredibly potent and fast-acting. It is estimated that the island is home to thousands of these vipers, with some studies suggesting a density of 1 to 5 snakes per square meter in some areas. This means that anywhere you step, you're likely within striking distance of one of the world's deadliest serpents. The venom of the golden lancehead is a powerful hemotoxin that is reported to be 3 to 5 times stronger than that of its mainland relatives. It causes a horrifying array of symptoms, including swelling, excruciating pain, nausea, internal bleeding, kidney failure, and necrosis of the flesh. A bite can be fatal in under an hour. The island is a fortress of nature. Its shores are rocky and difficult to access, and the interior is a dense tangle of rainforest and undergrowth, providing perfect cover for the snakes. The stories and legends surrounding the island are as frightening as the reality. Tales are told of a lighthouse keeper and his family who were killed by snakes that entered through the windows, or of a fisherman who landed on the island to find bananas, only to be found days later in his boat, dead in a pool of his own blood. While likely embellished, these stories underscore the island's deadly reputation. Today, the only people legally allowed to visit Snake Island are carefully vetted scientific researchers and members of the Brazilian Navy, who make an annual trip to service the automated lighthouse that replaced the manned one. These visits are conducted with extreme caution. Researchers wear thick, protective gaiters and are accompanied by a doctor carrying anti-venom. They move slowly and deliberately, constantly scanning the ground and the trees above, where the lanceheads often lie in wait. Ilha da Queimada Grande is a unique and terrifying natural laboratory. It is a stark example of evolution in isolation, a place where a single species, freed from its usual constraints, has become the undisputed and deadly ruler of its domain. It is the ultimate forbidden paradise, a beautiful tropical island that holds a secret so lethal it must be permanently quarantined from the human world. It is, quite simply, the island of the snakes. We have journeyed to the edges of our world, to places of terrifying beauty and profound danger. From the searing heat of the Danakil Desert to the oxygen-starved heights of Everest, from the fog-shrouded Skeleton Coast to the serpent-infested shores of Queimada Grande. Each location, in its own unique way, has shown us the raw, untamable power of nature. These are not lands that welcome us. They are landscapes that exist in a state of sublime indifference to our existence, governed by forces far greater than ourselves. They are a powerful reminder of our place in the natural world, not as its masters, but as a small and rather fragile part of it. These extreme environments, while hostile to us, are crucibles of life. They push evolution to its limits, fostering remarkable adaptations in the creatures and plants that call them home. The fog-drinking beetle of the Namib, the acid-loving microbes of the Danakil, the hypervenomous vipers of Snake Island. They all tell a story of survival against impossible odds. They demonstrate the sheer tenacity of life, its ability to find a foothold in the most inhospitable corners of our planet. In their existence, we find a deeper understanding of the intricate and often brutal web of life that envelops our world. And so, as our journey concludes, we are left with a sense of awe and humility. These dangerous places are not merely curiosities to be ticked off a list. They are vital, dynamic parts of our planet's system, and they hold valuable lessons for us all. They teach us respect. They teach us about the delicate balance that allows life to flourish. And they challenge us to look at our own world and our impact upon it with greater wisdom and care. The future of our planet, in all its perilous beauty, is in our hands. We must be its careful guardians,